What's going on, guys? Welcome to 310 EDU's new YouTube channel. This is where we're going to be posting all of our educational content for YouTube. So we started this new channel to not only post content about roping, doctrine, techniques, and all the different things we discuss at 310 EDU, but we're also going to be hosting the Art of Suffering podcast with Dalton Darnell right here on this channel. So if that's something you're interested in, hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell. We'll be posting a new podcast episode every single week, along with more content like this. So as the title of this video indicates, today we're going to be talking about why I like to dally on a slick horn. So with that being said, if you're new to roping and new to all this terminology, we're going to discuss real quick all the different variations of dallying and what you can dally on, or you don't even have to dally at all in some cases, and then why I choose to do it the way that I do it. Let's jump right into the video. So as you can see right here, guys, this is my saddle. It is a Wade slick fork saddle, meaning it's not a swell fork. So a swell fork is going to have swells right here. Mine's a slick fork, and it is a Wade saddle. I wrap this, right now it's wrapped with chap leather. You can wrap this horn with pretty much anything, with mule hide, boar's hide, elk hide. This is chap leather. It's a little bit stickier than mule hide, so I got some mule hide right here. Same principle applies, and what this is going to do is this horn is going to allow me to feed rope. So when I rope a calf or tie off to something or whatever, and I go to the horn, it's going to slip that rope until I physically stop it by taking more wraps. The other option you'll see in the team roping pen, and lots of guys doctor with this, is rubber. They're going to wrap rubber around their horn, and they can take about one wrap around their saddle horn, and it's going to stop just about anything. You can still slide a little bit of rope with rubber, but not very much. And the third option we're going to have here is tied off. So what we have here, this is a horn knot, and what guys will do with these is they put them around their saddle horn and slip it tight, and then when they rope something, when they dump it on one, they drop their slack or let their slack out easy, and that calf hits the end of it, and then they're tied off to their horse. So today, I'm going to demonstrate, and I've been thinking about this all week, and I'm going to demonstrate why personally, the biggest reason why I prefer to dally on mule hide or a slick horn, right? Chap leather, elk's hide, boar's hide. It doesn't matter what you use as long as you can feed rope. This is one of the biggest reasons why I like it, and one of the biggest benefits to using a slick horn. So lots of guys will say that sliding rope is kind of like drum brakes or using a clutch in a truck or whatever. You can slow everything down nice and easy, and those are all true. Those are all true. But the biggest benefit to me, and the biggest thing that helps when it comes to roping, is the ability to keep your horse's feet moving and putting them in a powerful position. That's kind of, when it boils down to what I use feeding rope for the most, that's what it comes to. Really turning and pulling. In the Brandon trap, or when you're doctoring yearlings, when you turn and pull, you can allow your horse's feet to be free, and they don't ever get in a spot where they're really kind of bogged down, if that makes sense. Now, you team ropers out there, ain't nobody talking about you, okay? Team roping is a totally different thing from what I do in a Brandon trap or even doctoring in the pasture. It's just not the same thing. So neither here nor there. If I go to the team roping pen, I'm going to use rubber because you have to be that fast. So we're not talking about team ropers. I'm saying if you're going to a Brandon or if you're going to doctor in the pasture, this is why I would say mule hide is the best way to go, or a slick horn is the best way to go. On the other end of this rope, I have a coil of rope. It probably weighs, I don't know, how much do you think it weighs, Zach? 50 pounds? 50 pounds, roughly. And so if you imagine my hips are the saddle horn, right? Not necessarily the center of your horse's back, but it's where all the weight is going to be transferred to when you have something roped. So if your horse is stopped, and sucked back on its rear end, right? To turn and pull the weight, they're going to have to kind of pick up their front end and like manhandle themselves around, right? It puts me in a weak position to get their feet going. Not to mention, when the horse goes to pull, they're pulling through the turn, right? Because there's no way to take the pressure off of their withers. They're going to try to turn And then from a total position of stopped, they have to get their momentum going forward to pull that calf around. And anybody who's doctored a lot or branded a lot of cattle knows you're going to go from a stopped position with the rope tight to a turn and pull quite a bit. You're going to do that quite a lot. So this is not very heavy for me. And even though that I can turn and pull it, right, I'm still having to start the pull from a stop position. So I'm going to show you real quick why I like to be able to slide rope so much. And now I put away the heel and drag, and I have a 60-foot poly here, and I'm just going to throw that out for the case of the example. So in the other example, like I said, I was tied off to the animal and we're at a stopped position, right? So here we are. If I'm the saddle horn, if my hips are the withers of your horse, this is the point. So instead of me having to turn and move that weight with my shoulder from a standing position to be able to turn and get pointed the direction we have to go, now, because I have a slick horn, I can feed rope through my turn and then lock it down once my feet are moving, if that makes sense. So what that looks like when you're actually doctoring calves is I'm going to be sit back on my horse is going to be stopped, right? And as I ask my horse to turn, I'm going to feed that rope. You see it feeding out of my hand. And his feet are going to be totally free to make that turn in a natural way that he would normally turn. Well, as soon as he gets his feet moving in the direction I want to go, and he gets his power going the way they need to go, I'm going to lock those dallies down, and his feet are already moving. So that's just a silly little example here in the warehouse of something that I've been thinking about the last couple of weeks. And, you know, I have people ask me all the time, you know, should I dally on mule hide or should I dally on rubber? And there's benefits and negatives to both, I guess. But honestly, the benefits to the mule hide far outweigh the negatives. And the biggest reason for that is your horse. It allows them to be free. It allows them to keep their feet moving, to get their momentum going, and it puts them in a strong position, a position to win. If they never feel like they can't pull something, they never won't pull, if that makes sense. So as you're going along, if you can use that rope to keep their feet free and moving and fluid, they'll never bog down on you because they never get bogged down. So keep that in mind when you're choosing a saddle. Keep that in mind when you're choosing what to wrap your horn with when you go doctor stuff. Just know that you might want to get a little longer rope, you know, a 50 or a 60, and you might want to get quicker at going to the horn. Anyways, that's my tip for the week. That's kind of my 2 cents on why I like to use mule hide. If you like something different, put it in the comments below, whether it's boar's hide, elk's hide, whatever. Whether it's rubber. If you got a differing opinion on how to keep your horse's feet free while using rubber, put the video in the comments. I'd love to see it. Guys, as always, I appreciate y'all watching. Go check out 310edu.com. We have tons of incredible instructional videos on doctoring cattle and branding and all the rope and shots. There's tons of stuff on there. Go check it out. Hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next video.